What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you my version of an airplane with the new Lego update in Lego Fortnite. My airplane can take off, move forward, turn left and right, and land, all with the 3-channel thruster system that they just added. It is a lot of fun. It's a great way to haul things back and forth on big journeys. And yeah, there's a lot you can do with it. So let's jump into it, and I'm going to show you guys how I built it. All right, so you're going to want to start with a flat piece of land. It's going to be the easiest surface to build on, and you're going to be able to test it a lot easier and not break anything in the process. So you're going to want to start with your jack stand. Gives it an elevated surface to work on, and you can also work under it when you need to work under it. And we're going to take 3 of the big square blocks, and we're going to place them in a row of 3. And then you're going to want to find the crease in between the first and the second, and that's where the front of your wing is going to line up. So you're going to take the second biggest block and line the edge up with that crease, and you're going to go to the smaller block and go 2 more out, and then go even smaller on the block, and then do 2 in that little crease. And that's going to give you kind of the wing shape to work with. Duplicate that on the other side. I'm going to speed that up so you guys don't have to watch it again. And then you've got your basic wing shape. So you can kind of see how the airplane is starting to take shape. From here, we're going to work on the front. So we're going to kind of basically start shaping it into more of a point. Kind of gives it more of the feel. This is all mostly cosmetic. There are a couple advantages to having a little extra space on the front, but it's mostly cosmetic to make it look a little bit more like a plane. I like to round off my edges as well, make it look a little bit more finished. And then you can kind of see it taking shape a little bit more. So then we're going to work on the back. This is going to be a simulated fin, essentially. So we're going to start tapering off the back with the same one we used on the front. And then we're going to do one of the smaller, not the smallest, but the smaller. I think it's an 8x8. Round it off like we do, make it look a little more polished. And then I'm going to take some smaller 4x4 blocks, and I'm going to build up a little kind of tail to put the wing on. So I'm going to taper it back a little bit, more and more, block by block. And you guys can do whatever you want with this. If you guys want to make a different style tail or different look to your plane, there's a lot of freedom to kind of go off of the drawing board on this. I'm just showing you guys how I designed mine. And mine's a pretty basic design. So as you can see, that's kind of a tail. Kind of a tail fin, as you will. And you can kind of see the plane taking shape even a little bit more now. Alright, so I put in a couple of one enclosed area with kind of a little walkway in between. This is actually where I put my engine bay, my power cell bay, whatever you call it. I put a couple of power centers in here just to use in case I need to drive somewhere on land. It doesn't drive very well on land, but it does drive. And then I kind of just follow through with this with windows or kind of an open cabin feel to the front. I feel like it kind of gives it a little bit more of that plane feel. And then you just go ahead and build those up along each side. And I put a little windshield on the front where the cabin is, the cockpit. A couple of windows on the side. Make sure you be able to see out the sides as well. Give it kind of like that enclosed but open feel, if you will. And then what I did was I put I like to put 2 driver seats in, just because in case you have a second driver who wants to be in control of something else. It gives it a little bit more options. And then it's a little bit set back so that way there's no conflict with what's in front of you. You should be able to get out and in easily. And then what I do here is I put a couple fence pieces in. This is absolutely not necessary. I just kind of did it to create a little bit more of a barrier there because my pieces didn't line up perfectly there. So I just kind of put a little bit of a barrier. And you can kind of see the main area taking shape a little bit more even. Now pop a couple engine bays in here. You could substitute the engine bays with chests or storage or whatever you wanted. I put a couple engine bays in here. Power center bays. Just in case. And then what I did as well is I took and I edged it with wood floor panels. So that way I could fit kind of a roof on the top to make it kind of an enclosed area. Because I kind of wanted that area to be not like open. Because you usually don't have engines or power centers in this case. You usually don't have that stuff exposed typically. So I just kind of popped a roof piece on top. And it kind of makes like a little enclosed engine area with a little walkway to get through. It works for me. You can pop a couple chests back there as well. Even with the engines, you still have room for at least a couple chests, if not a bunch of chests. I put a bunch of seats in here to make it kind of an area to sit, but you have the freedom to do whatever you want with this area. This is all up to you. And it's raining, so we're going to come back when it's not. All right, we're back. The rain is gone. And we're going to start working on the axles and the wheels. So I put axles on the front and the back. Because it's a big thing, I will put one of the bigger, the suspension, I guess they call it. The suspension, the axle, whatever you want to call it. I put a big one. I don't put it too close to the front, but pretty close to the front and the back. You don't want it to be very, very close to the edge, but you also don't want it too far in because the balance might get off a little bit and then your front or your back might hit the ground. And then for the wheels, you want the powered wheels in the back if you have any intention of driving. And then you want to do the turnable wheels on the front in case you want to turn. If you don't use this for driving, it is still a great thing to have on there because it makes a nice cushiony landing surface when you land your aircraft, so that way you don't break anything. All right, so now we are going to remove the jack stand, drop it down. So now we're going to start working on the flying aspect of it, making it lightweight so that way it's easier to get off the ground. I've tested a bunch of different balloon options. This is kind of the setup that's worked best for me, but you may find you want to make adjustments to it. Like me personally, I like mine to tilt back a little bit when I'm taking off. That gives you kind of like a braking action. So that way if you're landing and you need to slow down a little more, it'll give you a little bit of a braking action. Instead of sending it forward because you want some way to stop it from going forward, in my opinion. But you can adjust the balloons how you want. The best way to test is to bring your aircraft up a little bit and then let it fall down to see kind of where your balance is at. Another thing you can do is start on one of the four corners, the front, the back, or one of the wings. Place balloons down until it starts lifting off the ground a little bit, and then you take one or two balloons away to get it almost light enough to float, but not quite. So then we got all our balloon placements down. I'm going to put on screen where all my placements are for my balloons, in case you guys wanted to try to replicate that, or if you wanted to watch the video, pause it at any point. And then we're going to do the thrusters as well. There are quite a few thrusters on here, so I'm not going to go through them individually, but you've got different thrusters that act for different things. So you've got your takeoff thrusters, and then you've got your turning thrusters, Then you've also got your thrusters that maintain your altitude, which run anytime you're moving forward. And I will put on screen all of the different channels that I use for my thrusters, so that way you guys can see how my channels are set up for turning and maintaining altitude and all that. Anytime you're going forward, the thrusters will keep you going forward, which is one of the best things about this craft. You don't have to individually press the up channel in order to keep maintaining altitude as you're going forward. You just need your forward. You just need to continue moving forward, and it should maintain a pretty good altitude to keep you consistently in the air. And that is my build. I'm curious to see what you guys can make out of this. If you guys have any suggestions, or if you guys have any creative twists to this design, I'd be very happy to see it. And happy building.